and welcome here to the second meeting of Nazareth Speedway, just under 1 mile long, and this is the 17th round of qualifying. Another 10 minutes then on the clock has already started, and there's a lot of things that we need to talk about here tonight. New points leader, as we have got 10 rounds to go to crown ourselves yet another CCS champion. So I do believe the first guy was out. That was Sam Oskin, as Wes McCall and Dylan Young all go out on there. There he is there, Sam Oskin then, driving for Roush Racing at number 16. I think out of the Roush Racing camp, we didn't see a lot of Sam Oskin up at the front last week at Nashville. We also need to talk about what happened at Nashville last week, because that was an absolute unbelievable way to end a race there, I must admit there. And right in front of him is the teammate and the winner who won it last week at Nashville, Jessica Shelton. There she is. You know, she would have thought Christmas had come early for that 17 team there. And she's actually moving up now in the points. She went up 8 places from that. She's now 27th in the standings, so she is moving up in the points. There's defending champion Danny Wells making his way through turn 3, and right ahead of him is the guy that suffered a lot of heartache at Nashville, because he was the one that was leading going on to the white flag lap, last in the points. A win would have done a world of good for him, and then the engine decides to conk out on him, thus him losing out on the win. Jesse Turner just coming out just in front of Matt. Cody Lambert is also 2 behind there. Danny, there he is there, back in the Interstate Batteries car. Yet again, qualifying is still the same as usual. As there's Anthony Crury, secured the top 10 last week. And out goes Charlie Bucks, and a whole load of drivers also coming out there. Collard as well. Collard, another one of the many drivers that suffered an engine problem. And Collard was in 7th place before his engine conked out. Now qualifying's getting to be a little bit busy now. Shelton now looks to the inside of Brandon Ross, and out goes Daniel Voiles, and hopefully he'll find some fresh air or clean air to put in some good laps in. He's going to come out just at the back, or just perhaps maybe in front of Ali Rain, maybe, as Michael Norman is already quickly going back into the pit lane. Keep an eye here on the 5. Oh, just got him there. There he is there. Michael Norman then into the pit lane. Comes in, probably puts some fresh tyres on maybe. Oh, and he's disappeared. He has disappeared. So Michael Norman is going to start at the back of the grid. I was about to say, if any driver in this car disappears, then they're going to be starting at the back of the grid. And we just seen there, Michael Norman is going to start dead last on the grid, not unless if anyone else is going to join him too. And that's a disappointment as well for Michael, because he's sitting 8th in the championship. Oh, and now James Qualls is coming into the pit lane. There's Wes McCall, who's been championship leader the most weeks so far this season. Lost it a week ago at Nashville. Michael Norman's car's back now with us. Looks like it's all Hendrick teammates then all going into the pit lane as we're looking at James Qualls. And he's going to put on some tyres. Okay, then, just to confirm that too. Seth Cole's also in. Matt McLean's also in. Ali Rain is also in. And Seth Cole's car now disappeared. Matt McLean's also got some damage too. And now his car's also disappeared. So we've got Michael Norman, Seth Cole and Matt McLean all starting at the back of the grid. But in championship order, it will be Norman, followed by Cole, and then it will be Matt McLean, because he's dead last. Nick Gunther also there too. His car might have disappeared and all. May have to check a look out on that there too. So already drama developing in qualifying, and we're going in halfway through the qualifying session. Oh, more cars then into the pit lane. Austin the Plant is in. RJ Bishop is in. RJ, oh gosh, this is such a narrow pit lane. Really such a narrow pit lane. RJ Bishop then still holding to second place in the championship as it's been a complete move about. Ooh, as the 8 scrapes the wall. Actually, there's some smoke there in going into 1 and 2. So I wonder if that was to do with the 41 and the 8, the 41 and the 31. As Charles Sanford goes into the pit lane, as well as Chris Summers and Sky Commons and all. Out goes Michael Norman, but his time is completely irrelevant now. He's going to start at the back of the grid. Nick Gunther then also comes out. So we want to see what actually happened here. Let's put the skid marks on the pit lane and also into the outside wall. I'm guessing it's to do with Steph Cole and Matt McLean. There's Danny Wells there. And there's teammate Dylan Pulte, who has fallen down to 5th place now in the championship. And the guy who's actually moving up now in the championship, there he is there, Carson Gum, who's now into 16th place now. And he's had some really strong runs now as of late. So, yeah, it's what he did last season too. Made a real strong run for the championship last season where he came runner-up. But, yeah, that 19 is looking really good at the moment, looking really confident. Zachary Fitzwalter. There's his teammate Brent Wintergreen. There's Jamie Smith and Jessica Shelton and Alex Rowe. And now it's Liam Irving trying to overtake Dylan Young. And there's Brian Tedesco in the 7 car. Tedesco now down in 17th place in the championship, but having a much more better season than what he did last year when he was driving the 11 car. And there is your new championship leader. Finished 2nd a week ago. That is Christian Martin, winner at Daytona. And he comes into this race now as the championship leader. And if you remember back to last season, when he drove for the same team, the same number, he pretty much dominated the first half of last season. Now he comes into this one with 10 races to go, championship leader. Things might be looking very rosy. There's the former championship leader right there, who'd been leaving the championship for about, what, 11 weeks, 12 weeks maybe? Sky Commonson coming out on the track. Not really hampering Matt McIntyre, I don't think, because McIntyre passes Dylan Young. Now he gets hampered behind Sky. There is a look at Daniel Voiles, and there is the 66 of Colin Jones. And then you got this scrap of cars right here. Oh, in fact, James Coles is actually going into the pit lane again. So in goes James. We'll keep an eye out this on James. 6th in the championship. He is 8 top 10s after yet another top 10 finish a week ago at Nashville. More drivers in the pit lane. Collard is in. I think so too was Austin Plant, who secured a top 10 and all. So too is Ospina, who could have had the win if he couldn't have get by McLean, who was struggling on the track. Meanwhile, Stan Oskin, the first guy we saw out there. There is Charlie Buxton in the 89 and 21 of Brandon Ross. And there is Anthony McCrory, now free from those 3 races probation that he did back at Indy. There's a look at Ali Rain, who is running in 18th place. Ali Rain. We've got 2 Kodak cars there. We've got Ali Rain driving the 77 and Dylan Young, their teammate, driving the 2 car. And there is Carson Green, one of the rookies. Carson struggling. 38th place he comes into this. Where is he sitting at the moment? 23rd place. So he's right in the danger zone as we've got ourselves a minute to go. Cody Lammers is there too. And there is Jack Mitchell in the 42, trying to get a draft off of Jesse Turner in the 10. Excuse me. And yeah, Chris Summers. No movement from him, former champion. 22nd place in the standings. He's only 6 points off of Seth Cole in 21st. But if he wins the race, with some of the other drivers just ahead of him that drop out a bit there, he could gain about maybe 8 places or so, and he'll be right back in top 10 contention. Now and there is the 2 Evernham teammates still there working together. Carsten Gunn passing Charles Sanford now in the process. So well, Danny Wells is looking to upset that there. Levi McIntyre is in the pits. Out goes Diego Ospina as Wintergreen's going to change his tyres, but I don't think they'll be too little too late because there's not a lot of time left on the clock. Jamie Smith coming into Nazareth with some poor form. He's now down to 15th in the standings. When being a couple of races ago, he was in the top 10 for all of the races prior to last week. And there's Dylan Young driving the 2 car, and the clock has ended. Oh, I'm going to pause it right there. So that is the end of qualifying. Now we're going to have a look to see what happened that has caused those skid marks going into 1 and 2. Well, I did mention Seth Cole and Matt McLean also had to get their cars invisible when they have to start at the back of the grid, but it looks like they're going to be joined by a third driver too in Danny Wells, and you can see him, he kisses the wall really hard. Matt McLean just goes into him there, didn't react in their time there, and there goes the 9, spins, and then the 31 will slap the outside wall and then that's when Danny Wells just goes back across the track. Oh, and gets into Jessica Shelton. So Shelton's also going to be starting at the rear of the grid. Oh, and so too what looks like will be Joshua Collard. So we've had ourselves a multi-car accident going in to 1 and 2. And yeah, Shelton's car is destroyed. So she'll be in a backup car. I'm trying to see. There's the 43. Lots of carnage then going into going in out of turn 2. I just want to see if the 43 car also goes into the pit lane. So that's what happened there. I think Danny Wells followed the line of Seth Cole. That's why Seth Cole got damage on the right side as well. But then McLean never really decided to back off the throttle and drove into the 9, which they spun onto the pit lane. And then that's what caused the damage there with the 17. So Jessica Shelton's going to start at the back of the grid as well. But it just determines where they are in the championship. That's what will also count as well. So we'll just yeah, and then you can see here Joshua Collard is then going to go into the pit lane, and I think his car will disappear because he's got some front end damage there. So we've got at least 5 drivers then involved that's going to be starting at the rear of the grid. And that's not going to help things though, isn't it? So there you go then. And also yet again, just mentioning as well about the 11 of Nick Gunther, who also comes into this race in the top 10 in the championship. He has got some also right side damage on his FedEx Chevrolet. And he also will turn his car into the pits, and the car has disappeared. So I think we've got at least 6 cars starting at the back of the grid now. Well, what an absolute frenetic qualifying session that was here tonight at Nazareth. I don't know what the race is going to be like come tomorrow, but I can confirm that no other drivers have disappeared. So at least to my knowledge, and I've written it down on my sheet of paper here, that 7 cars are going to be starting at the back of the grid. That is Michael Norman, who sits in 8th. 9th place Nick Gunther in the championship, and 10th place Danny Wells. So the last 3 in the top 10 stand at the back of the grid. Then the next driver in the championship that's going to start at the rear of the field will be Seth Cole, who's sitting 21st. Then followed by Joshua Collard, who's 26th, and Jessica Shelton, who's 27th. And Matt McLean, who is in dead last. All the other drivers then are okay. So that's there just to confirm it. Now, it'll be quite disappointing to see if one of those drivers actually got the pole position, like what happened in Minnesota with Colin Jones. Because if you forget, Colin Jones was involved in an accident at turn 3. The car disappeared, went back out on track, and he secured pole position. But obviously, because he was involved in an accident, the car disappeared. He had to start at the back of the grid anyways. So I'll just quickly write down the numbers then, who's going to be starting at the rear of the field. 43 is going to start in 40th. The 41 of Seth Cole will start 39th. The 9 of Danny Wells will start in 38th. And Nick Gunther will start 37th. And Michael Norman will start in 36th place. So we've got 35 then places up for grabs. Who's going to start on the pole for tomorrow's race at Nazareth. And it is Dylan Poteet, the man that's fifth in the championship, and Austin LaPlante, who took the pole in the day race. He's going to start on the outside pole. And RJ Bishop, second in the championship, he's going to start third. So this is going to make the championship then really, really interesting. Then in fourth place is Ospina. Danny Wells, he's the one of the 7 drivers that's going to start at the back. So Wintergreen will move up to 5th, and he'll be alongside Chris Summers on the 3rd row. Liam Ervig and Wes McCall will make up the 4th row. And the 5th row, completing the top 10, will be Matt McIntyre and Jesse Turner. Then it will be Cody Lammers and Jamie Smith. That will be on row number 6. Row number 7 will be a pair of forwards of Daniel Voiles and Colin Jones, Jack Mitchell and Zachary Fitzwater. That's going to be quite interesting considering what happened to them at Nashville a week ago, which brought out the only caution of the night. Brian Tedisco and Ali Rain will start on row 9. The championship leader was going to start alongside Seth Cole, but then it's going to have to be Alex Rowe. So now on row 10, it will be Christian Martin followed by Alex Rowe. Carson Green with Nathan Hudson on that row. Nick Gunther's going to start at the back of the grid, so it'll be Carson Gum and Levi McIntyre. On the next row, I've forgotten what position it is. Michael Norman, he's starting at the back, so it'll be Sky Commons and Noah Cars, Charlie Buxton and Dylan Young, Anthony McCrory and Brandon Ross, Matt McLean, he's going to start at the back anyways, Kyle Matthews, James Qualls, Trent Dunham, Santa Oskin, Charles Sanford, and Joshua Collard again at the back of the grid. He qualified back at Daytona, and he worked as well through the field quite nicely. I wonder if he could do it again, but on a much more tighter track. But again, Joshua Collard, he's actually going to be gaining a couple of spots, even though he does have the slowest time. But in championship, he is ahead of Shelton by 1 position and Matt McLean because he's down in dead last. So if more than anything, it's a positive there for Collard because he's actually going to be starting 2 places where he actually qualified, which is quite interesting. So there you go. A very hectic qualifying session tonight here for the Craftsman Cup Series. I can imagine the race is going to be absolutely carnage, like what we've seen at Daytona and Indianapolis as well. So you're going to have to wait and find out for tomorrow. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. And again, we will see you for round 17 of the championship tomorrow.